everyone, my name is Christiana, and today I'm here with Ollie, and we're going to be talking all about mental health and his life and everything. And I just want to say a little about myself. I started Teenage Mental Love because I watched a YouTube video about this guy from like just a normal guy every day, and he saved his friend from committing suicide. And I was like, wow, that's really impactful. And I just realized how much our generation, and like so many other people, of course, like really need someone to like kind of show that you're not alone, you're loved. And I like to sit down with people like Ollie, for example. I really love his page, and it's really amazing, and I will link him all down. I link his social media all down below. And yeah, and I'd love to talk to these people all about mental health and everything, and we're gonna jump right into it, and I really hope you guys enjoy. So yeah. Yes, so firstly I wanted to ask you, how are you doing mentally?
I would say I'm doing pretty well. I just moved into my apartment. I just started college freshman year at Chapman University, so I'm really loving it, having a great time. Um, I think before I moved, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, specifically during quarantine in the 6 months that we were down. I'm a very codependent person and love being around other people and being able to entertain and make other people laugh and smile and all of the above. And I think just watching what's going on in our world right now and being at home and not feeling like I was able to do anything about it um, was really, I really struggled with that. And it kind of set off a lot of my anxiety. Um, but as soon as I got to Chapman and kind of felt like I was out in the real world and doing things again, I started to feel more comfortable. I'm with a roommate. My roommate is actually one of my best friends from high school, so it worked out really well. So I would say I'm doing pretty well right now.
Yeah, oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. And I wanted to ask you, like Chapman, I wanted to ask you about like what was it like going into that environment? Because I know, like you said, you're a really codependent person. And at first, was it like really nerve wracking, or like did it ever affect your mental health?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I remember. So for the program that I'm in at Chapman, you actually have to audition to get into it. Um, so that process, I remember, was very nerve wracking for me. Um, and I actually didn't get in on the first try, so I got waitlisted, and I ended up eventually getting in.
Yeah.
But it was definitely the whole audition process and everything was very nerve wracking, and I was very scared. I don't,
Yeah.
there was something about it that was very nerve wracking from that point. But I think once I've gotten here, I feel so well acclimated and in such like a safe environment where I can like really be myself. So I'd say that once I got here, no, I didn't really feel any sort of anxiety or
Yeah.
anything.
Wow, that's amazing. And was that a place like this college? Like, did you always want to go there, like growing up, or like was it just like on off the whim?
Yeah, so it's actually really funny. I didn't know that I wanted to go into acting or performing or entertaining or any of that until pretty much 11th grade. I wanted to be an athlete my whole life. I played football, basketball, volleyball, and I just wanted to be somewhere in the sports world for the longest time. And then something switched, and I found a passion for entertaining people and allowing people to feel emotions and feel vulnerable and know that you're in a safe space to be able to feel that. Um, and just found a big passion in that and acting. So I decided to put the pedal to the metal and start working and grinding
Yeah.
to be able to be in the place that I am today. And I'm so grateful that I've gotten so many opportunities and to be in the position that I am today. So
Wow. And also, does Brat help you with that? Because I know like you started acting on Brat, and I want to ask you, what's that like in memorizing your lines and doing something so rigorous, basically.
yeah, totally. Yeah, so Brat was actually my first ever TV production that I was ever a part of. Kind of like it was such a fun show to be a part of, and I think the cast and the crew and everyone, we created such a like family um, that it was. I don't really know how to describe it other than like magical, but like it was just like that's like the only word that's coming to mind right now. But it was really just, it was so easy to be able to, once we like got on set and everything, to be able to work with everyone. Like everyone was so welcoming and always wanted to run lines together. And um, yeah, it was just such a fun environment. But that really got me off the ground, I think, and just kind of excelled my passion more, and made me want to continue doing what I do just because I loved it so much.
Wow, that's amazing. And are you going to continue working with Brat? I know, like, with college and everything, it can get hard or stressful. Are you going to continue with that?
I would love to.
Mm.
I don't know what their plans are for the future, but I mean, I would love nothing more than to continue working with Brat or whoever. Really,
Yeah.
I just love, you know,
Of course.
acting. So.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And also, because I love to ask people about, like, how like outlets and hobbies like really help with their mental health. And I wanted to ask you, I know you said you love entertaining people, but also like with your mental health, is it like a good escape or like sometimes going into a character or like being away from like everyday life for a second? Is that good for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had a conversation about this in one of my classes today.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how acting is is very therapeutic for certain people. For me personally, like I get such a joy in seeing other people so happy.
Mm-hmm.
So like me, I love making people laugh or making people just to be able to feel emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then also on top of that, to be able to step into another character's shoes and really immerse yourself in a completely different life other than your own allows me to kind of forget about all of my real world problems and my anxieties and different things and take a look at the world from a different perspective. And so that for me is very therapeutic
Yeah.
and really enjoyable.
Wow, that's amazing. I really do love what you said, and I really like that. And also, when you talk about anxiety, and I know that is something that so many people, struggle with, and I really understand that. And I wanted to ask you, has it been something that you struggled with, for a long, long time, or like has it recently started for you?
Yeah. So when I was younger, um, let's see, I struggle with I struggled with anxiety a little bit when I was younger, but it wasn't super noticeable. And I think I kind of repressed all of those feelings
Mm-hmm.
until around 11th grade. Yeah, I think so. It was just kind of the heat of junior year, and then I had to start getting ready for college and looking at college and everything. And I think that part of that mixed in with some stuff that was going on at home. Um, Really just kind of brought out all of this repressed anxiety that I had. And all throughout 11th and 12th grade, I had major panic attacks to the point where I actually couldn't like participate in class anymore. My grades were starting to drop. And then that anxiety I started to fall into somewhat of a depression. Um, but luckily I was able to get help. I was, I started going to lots of therapy, and I did actually use some medication that was prescribed, obviously,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
from from my therapist
Yeah,
to help me get through the difficult time that I was going through.
yeah.
Um, I definitely still tried to hide it to the best of my ability
Mm-hmm.
because I think there's part of this stigma of not wanting to express yourself or express the anxieties or the difficulties that you're going through in life because you don't want to like burden other people. Um, but I found it so unbelievably helpful
Mm-hmm.
to get the help that I needed, and I'm so grateful because I honestly like don't think I would be here if it weren't for like the help that I was able to get and go
Yeah,
through.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so I mean, last year, 12th grade was really difficult for me, I think,
yeah.
and probably like my most anxiety filled, depression filled year of my life so
Mm-hmm.
far.
Yeah.
But through that journey that I've gone through, I've learned so much, not only about myself, but about like the people around me
Mm-hmm.
and like how to interact with other people and like who are the actual important people in my life.
Yeah.
So I think out of it, there's been a lot of silver linings in a sense.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, it's my journey. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm grateful with what I was given, I guess.
Yes, that's amazing. And also, I wanted to say, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, you look at someone every single day on social media because, like, I look at your page and I would have never known, like, what's going on behind the scenes. And that's, like, so shocking to me. And I wanted to ask you, like, when it's happening behind the scenes, is there any time where you, like, just felt like, I know you said, like, junior year was really hard, senior year was really hard. Was there, like, a specific time where you felt like it was just all too much? Like I don't know, like a specific day where like it was just overwhelming to the point where you just felt like you couldn't handle it anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had those days multiple times throughout the course of the past couple of years and whatnot. But I think this is a motto that I've started to live by, which is that you have to go through the bad in order to have the good. So in a sense, it's if whatever bad times you have, you're going to have good ones that are going to counteract it, regardless of like if they're big or small or whatever. Like something good is eventually going to come out of something. And so I kept telling myself that on repeat, like that was what was on loop in my head all the time, just to try and get me through those days. Because I mean, it's just those days are the worst when you think that everything is over and you just want to give up, and they're unbelievably brutal, and I'm so grateful and thankful that I've made it through those days.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really great. And I wanted to also ask you, do you have any like special friends or like someone who was really special in your life that really helped you through those times?
Yeah, I definitely would say I've had a lot of people in my life that have really helped and impacted me, and I'm so unbelievably grateful for all of those people. But a lot of my close friends in school, I have like a small group of friends, and we all are very open with each other and very helpful with each other. And then obviously, people like Lilia and we got really close. So she was a huge help for me as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also my parents, I'm so grateful for them. They're very welcoming and are a huge safety net for me. So I really feel like I can bounce anything off of them. And I was just so grateful to have them in my life at the time too.
Yeah.
And also have a really close relationship with my brother. He is 11 years older than me, but he has a nephew. Or sorry, I have a nephew, his kid. Who's just the cutest baby in the world. Yeah. And so that kind of, he's 7 months old, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, 7 months old. So just having him in my life just made things so much better and kind of distracted me from other problems that I was having.
That's so cool. And I was gonna say that's really cool because like not never, but like a lot of people talk about like friends and just like friends their age, but that's so cool how like someone who's so young can really help you through some when you're going through something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And this is kind of random, but I also saw that you were speaking at your graduation, and I wanted to ask you about that. What was that experience like, and what was it about?
Yeah, so it was. I mean, so I went to the same high school. I went to the same elementary, middle, and high school for all 13 years of my education, and it was a wonderful school. And during 11th grade, one of my closest friends, who actually goes to Chapman with me, wanted to help make our school a better place and a better environment. And we had some good ideas together. So we decided to actually run for co-presidency of our student body. And so when we did that, we one of our like small things that we had, our like niches or whatever, was that we both are very big entertainers and we love to entertain people and make people laugh. So every time we had like a assembly or like a public appearance, we would go up on stage and always just make a fool of ourselves to make other people laugh and feel happy and stuff. Yeah. And then hopefully also get other like more important stuff done as well. But so we had decided that this year we wanted to give a speech to our graduating class. I think that um, after going to school with some of these kids for 13 years, it
Yeah.
was the least that I could do to give back to them and say, like, how much of an impact they had on my life and how grateful that I am that all 63 of us were. I went to a very small high school,
Oh,
so
yeah.
there was only 63 in our class.
Mhm.
Um, but how all 62 other kids were just incredible, and like how every single one of them is going to go on and just do incredible things.
Yeah.
And so that I just felt like I needed to say that
Yeah.
as like the voice of the student body, and
Of course.
also just um, as a form of gratitude
Yeah.
for my fellow classmates. So
Oh.
I thought, let's give a speech together,
Yeah.
and we ended up giving a speech, and it was just, although we did it in the pandemic, it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was dope.
And I love that. And I was going to also add with what you said. That's amazing because I feel like even though a lot of people accomplish something with their graduation, sometimes they kind of compare themselves to others. Like, oh, this person is going here, but I'm only going here. And I feel like that can really affect someone because, like, accomplishing something like high school, 13 years, from elementary, middle, high, like it's like really a huge accomplishment. And I really love what you did. That's like, so amazing. And it really
Thank you.
brings like of course, and it really brings like a positive aspect, especially during a pandemic. And I feel like so many people are so alone during this time, and they don't really have anyone who's there for them. And I really love that. And I wanted to also ask you, like you spoke about like entertainment and being co-president, but that's also kind of like having a platform. And I wanted to ask you, what's it like having a social media platform, especially when it comes to the toxicity of social media and like the good parts also.
Right. Well, I wanted to actually speak on that a little bit as well, so I'm glad you brought that
Yeah,
up.
of course.
But yeah, I think having a platform, my goal is to educate myself as much as I can about what's going on in this world, um, and then to hopefully pass that on to the rest of my following, of you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I really love to help educate people on what I believe is like the greater good for the community.
Yeah.
Um, you look at like now everything that's happening on in our world, and how many people are so just not educated, and how many people have that big platform and aren't using it to be able to spread awareness about certain things that are going on. And honestly, to me, it's like so heartbreaking to
Mm.
see people who have such a big platform and not be able to do anything with it. So my hope is that I would educate myself to
Mm.
understand certain topics better, and then to hopefully be able to pass those messages on to my followers to help educate them and hopefully make, you know, a greater impact on our community.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that thank you so much for reaching out to me, because I think that mental health and mental health awareness is so important in our community, and it doesn't get talked about
Mm.
enough. So I wanted to thank you for inviting me here,
Of
and
course.
allowing me to talk a little bit, because I loved your account.
Thank
um,
you.
when you DM'd me, and I saw, I was like, oh my god, this is like so amazing and something that I wanted to be part of for so long. So
Yeah,
I'm so grateful that
of
you
course, of
allowed me to be
course.
part of this movement.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I wanted to say thank you so much for coming. Like, I love, love, love having you here. And I want to say that that's so amazing because you're right. Like, so many people like have millions and millions of followers, and they're not really using their platform to spread something. Like, especially when it's a platform that is followed by a lot of younger people. Like, for example, like younger girls or younger boys, and they like look up to that person. And then when the person posts something, I don't know, just a random example, of like at the beach, and they have like a, I don't want to. Hmm, yeah, they have a certain photo, but they're not promoting
Right.
anything. Yeah, that's showing mental health. And then in the comments, you see these young girls and boys saying, "Oh, I want that yacht, I want that boat, I want the body, everything." And it's like you look back and you're like, wow, it's kind of crazy because a lot of us, like I feel like I know you're about a year older than me. But I feel like a lot of us like had social media at a young age. Like I know for me it was 10 years old. So like it's like crazy when you think about it, like wow, that's like, something that has been, influencing us for so long. And you're right, not many people do use your platform, and I love your page too because you really do use it in such an amazing way. And
Thank
I,
you.
of course, and I wanted to ask you, speaking of social media, also like, what's it like? I know there can be the toxic people, the bad side of social media, and I wanted to ask you, how do you like push through that, or not care about what people think?
Yeah, I think that is something that I'm still trying to figure out myself. Because there are times where I'll get DMs or I'll get comments on certain things that's like obviously not what I'm intending for people to react or want. I'll get hate comments every now and then, and it's like sometimes you just have to keep ignoring and plowing through. But I mean, I myself am still learning how to get out of all of the situations as well. But from personal experience, I mean, yeah, I would just say that just keep my head kind of focused on my path and just, not really focus on other people trying to come into my path and disturb different things and not to influence me, but know that in my heart, what is the right way, and to just keep following my heart and following the close people around me because they seem to also have really strong moral compasses.
Yeah.
So I trust them.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And that's amazing. And also, when it comes to like, I don't want to say again the toxic side of social media, but like also, like you said, the hate comments, that's crazy to me because, it's wild to see someone who's promoting such positivity and teaching people such amazing things. And there's still that side of social media that's, negative, or, has like the downside. And I wanted to also say, I find it crazy how like toxic social media can be, and a lot of people don't even realize it. They post all these things and they say these stuff about themselves, and they never realize the detriment or the harm that it's causing. And speaking of like, like being on social media and pushing past those comments, I also see that you modeled for Halo Tide, and I wanted to
Yeah.
also ask you about that, and like, what's it like, I don't know, modeling, but like, finding the confidence to, some people have a hard time stepping in front of the camera, or, even looking at photos of themselves. And I wanted to ask you about, like, ignoring bad stuff that like someone could tell themselves.
Right. Um, well, Halo Tide, I'll just start off by Halo Tide is an amazing company. It's funny. Halo Tide is my friend from Wildwood, which is the school that I went to. It's actually her company. So she started this whole thing when I was a senior. Yeah, last year she started this company. She reached out to me to come model for her, and I was super happy to be able to do it. But speaking to that piece of getting in front of the camera, um, I would say it's hard. It's definitely hard to build up the confidence to get in front of the camera. I mean, even me, who's been in front of the camera before, still has insecurities about certain things, and seeing other people that have even modeled for Halo Tide and other companies where I'm like, oh, but like he looks so good in this. Like I wish I could look as good as he does, and like how do I change my appearance to make sure that I look like as good as him? And those comments, they always go on a loop in my head. But I think that there is a certain point where I have become more confident in the person that I am, and to just hope that people love me for who I am and not me trying to be someone else. Um, and so just kind of keeping that going in my head as well will sometimes deflect all of the hate and the insecurities that come inside my head. So um, yeah, just trying to stay positive, and also like oftentimes they'll play music and stuff during shoots, which like for me, I'm such a music person. So
Yeah.
getting in my element and being able to like dance around and just like goof off and have fun and like entertain the other people that are there at the shoot. Like if I'm enjoying myself, I don't really care about my insecurities at that point. So
That's amazing. I love that. And also, I know modeling can be kind of like an outlet for some people. Sometimes it's not for others, but it can be. And I wanted to also ask you, I know you said you're a music person. Do you have any like outlets and hobbies that you do, especially like, when it comes to music or art or anything that is a great way to like, release stress or like go when you're going through a hard time?
Yeah, definitely. So I um, I grew up a sports kid, which
Hmm.
I believe that's
Yeah.
it. I think
Yeah.
so. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So anytime I can play, watch, coach any sort of like basketball, football, or volleyball, I'm so happy. Just kind of being out on the field or the court, and being able to um, just kind of be in a different world.
Hmm.
I love that. Um, so that's always super calming, and it are big hobbies of mine. And then I also play a lot of guitar,
Oh,
and sing a little bit.
amazing.
I'm not the best, which is why I don't really advertise that a lot. But I do enjoy kind of messing around myself
Yeah.
um, and just you know getting to play. I think is very calming and relaxing for me.
Yeah.
Um, just kind of learning songs and escaping from again just the outside world and real problems and not having to focus on anything except for like the six strings that are in front of me.
Yeah.
So
Of course. Yes,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about your like life growing up and what it was like, with your parents and everything and having a supportive family like you said. And I wanted to ask you what was that like going through life, with a family that's so supportive and I wanted to ask you, are they supportive of like, your endeavors or like what you want to do with your life? And I wanted
yeah, absolutely. So I'm super grateful for
to
everything
yeah.
that I've been given. But I was born in Los Angeles, California, and I've lived there my whole life. To two parents who I love to death, and they will do everything in their power to make sure that I am supported, and they whether that be like financially or just to make sure that my dreams and aspirations are supported. Um, we grew up in a house where there was no hate; it was all love, and we were told and taught. My brother and I, we were told and taught to love one another and to just spread love and positivity, and to not show hatred towards anybody. Um, and so my parents are both very like generous people, and I love both of them to death.
Yeah.
My mom is actually an actress, so that's kind of how I
Oh,
got into the whole entertaining
yeah.
business. It's in my blood.
Yeah.
So, you know, um, yeah. And I'm just unbelievably grateful for the experiences that I had. Again, being able to go to the same school for 13 years and growing up with in a good location with good friends and everything. Like I just couldn't be more grateful for everything that I was given. But that didn't stop me from still working hard at certain things. My parents taught me that not everything is going to be given to you in life, and they were going to help me out as much as they could, but that I was still going to have to work hard and fight for what I believe in and fight for what I thought I needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I got very lucky again growing up in that household just because they were so um, they just really helped out a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I'm really grateful for them. And then my relationship with my brother and my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
My brother's actually been dating, or was is now his wife, but they were started dating in ninth grade, and they made it
Oh.
all the way through. They're now 30 years old,
Oh.
um, and married with a kid.
Yeah.
So she's been in my life my entire life, and so it's her whole family. So
Yeah.
um, it's been amazing. And then growing up with family in Los Angeles, Colorado, New York, Washington, kind of all over. I was able to do a lot of traveling throughout the 50 states when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I've seen lots of different parts of the world, and I'm just so grateful for the life that I've had so far and where it's led me to. So
Of course. And that's amazing. And I wanted to say, you said you also like grew up in California, like you lived there your whole life. And I wanted to say, I know that environment can be kind of different because I was speaking with someone and they said that, especially LA, Beverly Hills, those cities, it can be really, it can be really influential. And also you see a lot of different people, or you see like the main person who's like famous there, or who's popular there, and it can really affect someone when it comes to living in that location, that environment. And I wanted to ask you about like growing up there your whole entire life. It's different from, like growing up in, I don't know, Georgia or Alabama or somewhere. And I wanted to ask you, what was that like, growing up in a place like that, and, being in that environment?
Yeah. LA definitely has that reputation of having a lot of toxic people, and I think that there's definitely a lot of that. Um,
Yeah.
People are very full of themselves, very egotistical, and wanting to, make sure that they're on top of the world. Um, but I think that there are certain pockets in LA that are that have a lot of really good people,
Mm-hmm.
uh, people that want to help and people that want to make a difference in the world. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was lucky enough to be placed in a pocket where there's a lot of good people, and all we want to do is help in any way that we can. And just I got lucky. I think I was just really grateful to be put in a situation where it's a ton of people that want to help. But I think there is definitely, I've come across a lot of people in LA that are very toxic and very full of themselves and very narcissistic.
Yeah.
So it is difficult to grow up in a city like that, especially coming to down in even in Orange County. Like we're still in California. I'm a 50-minute drive away from where I live,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a completely different world. I
Yeah.
mean, everything is just in such high demand in LA, and
Mm-hmm.
there's so much traffic, and it's just so much busier. Whereas like even in Orange County down here, it's like so much calmer and more relaxing and more down to earth people. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just a lot of people in a big city that are trying to make it to the top, and they really
Mm-hmm.
only care about themselves.
That's so
But at the
true.
end of the day, it's my hometown, so I do love
Yeah.
LA.
Yes.
And I love my people that are from there. Like
Yeah.
my close friends and whatnot are
Yes.
very, very good people.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, I really do. And I lastly wanted to ask you just on advice. And I wanted to firstly ask you, like, do you have any advice for someone who wants to go into acting but are like feeling nervous, or that they're going to be judged, or, like hated on for their acting abilities?
Yeah. Let me think. Well, I think that the easiest, not the easiest, but let me see, the best piece of advice. I think the best piece of advice is just to be yourself. And I know that's very cliche and very, you know,
Yeah, overused.
um, yeah.
Yeah.
But what each individual person is going to bring to a role, for example, is going to be so unique to them that it's sometimes at the end of the day, like certain parts aren't even about acting or talent. It's about what you are able to bring to that character and how you're able to tell the story.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you just have um, obviously lots of practice and and a good mind and a good heart and willing to know that it is okay to fail and
Mm-hmm.
like you are going to have a safety net regardless, to just always 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 try and get back up on your feet and to keep trying again. I mean, the amount of times that you go in and get rejected, it's a tough business. To definitely, you need to be used to hearing rejection a lot, but to never let that throw you off your path and follow your heart and know that this is like what you want to do, and know that you can do it. Like I believe that everyone is able to tell their own story in any way, shape, or form, and so um, it's just about finding the right moment at the right time. But I believe that as long as you just keep trying over and over again and know that failure is okay,
Yeah.
and that failure is honestly sometimes even better than success,
Yeah.
just to keep going because you can do it.
That's amazing. And I also want to ask you on advice for someone who's struggling with anxiety or mental health, and especially like a time like this where they're alone and like you said you're codependent and they're like codependent on someone too. I want to ask you, do you have any advice for them as well?
Yeah, I would definitely say again, similarly to know that. Let me phrase this correctly
Of
before I
course.
start just blabbering out like random words.
Yeah.
Um, I would say to know that things do get better. Um, as I said earlier, my mantra that I keep with me at all times is you have to go through the bad in order to have the good. And that for me has kept me going.
Mm-hmm.
Know that at one point, for those that are struggling with anxiety and depression, I was in your shoes once as well. And I was able to find my way out of it and learn so much about um, other people and myself and what I need from this world and what I can hope to give to this world. So I would encourage you to please keep trying. Please get back up on your feet and try and try and try again. Know that failure is okay, and to just allow yourself time to express yourself. So whether that be to write down in a journal, to draw some sort of artistic or creative art form to get the other side of your brain working, um, is kind of how I was able to battle it to the best of my ability, and to just keep trying and to stay positive to the best of your ability. I know it's so difficult in times like this, but just to keep going and know that there will be good that will come out of the bad.
Of course, that's amazing. And I wanted to also say and add on to what you said to that it's okay to fail and failure is okay, because I feel like also when you see a lot of people who are just succeeding and then we're failing, it's almost like a punch, like, and it really hurts. And I really love what you said and every all of your advice. It was so wise and amazing. And I wanted to again thank you so much. And anyone who's watching, I want to let them know that you're not alone. And I know, especially like a time like this, it can be very hard. It can be very overwhelming, and it's almost as if you have no one, or you're like drowning and you're screaming out and no one's helping you. And I wanted to say that if you ever need someone to talk to, just a DM away, and just stay strong and know that failure is okay and you will always get through the hard times, just like Ollie said. And again, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I had such a wonderful time talking with you, and I really hope that everyone who's watching enjoyed this interview. And I will link Ollie's, all of his social media down below, his Instagram and everything. And I really, again, hope you guys enjoy this and have a wonderful day.